Hey, beauty pros, welcome to Beauty Business Breakthroughs. My name is Shara, your guide to success in the beauty industry. In each episode, I'm going to be sharing my tips, tricks, and real life experiences. Plus, we'll bring in industry experts to drop their game-changing advice. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, get ready for practical insights that will elevate your beauty business. Let's dive in. Hello, and thank you so much for joining us today. I have the privilege of sitting here chatting with Kelly. Kelly, thank you again.
Thank you. It's an honor.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Absolutely. So I have sort of run the gamut between corporate America and having my own business. My very first business, I was a consultant for Mary Kay Cosmetics. It helped me get my feet wet, being in network marketing and learning how to run a business, but be under the safe umbrella of a great big business, right? That kind of taught me some of those beginner skills. And I am really dating myself here, but this was before social media. So it was a lot of like door to door, go through the mall, hand out samples. I mean, you had to get gritty with it back then. Like it was pretty mortifying and embarrassing, but it helped me get comfortable with selling, which was really great. My husband is a businessman, and every time he's got promoted, we've moved states. So we moved 18 times in 15 years to 5 different states, which is why I've done so many different businesses, but I've always been obsessed with small business owners. I just have always thought that they are like the heroes of our country because they risk so much. They work so hard without the promise of a reward, but they're driven by their passion. And so I've always worked in and out of small businesses, helping them grow and scale to multi-6 figures, 7 figures. And so recently I was certified as a director of operations, kind of like a step down from a chief operating officer. So kind of like that really strategic operational type of stuff. And I was working as a fractional director of ops, which sounds super fancy, but all it means is that I worked at multiple businesses at the same time. These were small businesses, but larger than the solopreneur, right? So long story short, I was doing that, loved it, super, super busy. I started the page Walk Like Warriors on Instagram because I just was restless. I wanted something just for me. It was like a little passion project. And all of a sudden, these solopreneurs were like, hey, can you coach me? I was like, no, I don't do that. I'm a director of ops. I don't do that kind of thing. And then another DM, and I just kept telling people no. And then my business coach said to me, she's like, why are you turning away business? So in October of 2023, I took my first couple of coaching clients, opened up a little bit more in November for that. And in December, it became almost a full-time gig. Like it was still kind of a side thing because I was working as a director of ops. But you know what? I fell in love with these women because they were small business owners, but not to the size where they could afford a fractional director of ops. And I was like, they have the passion, they have the excitement, the technical skills, but they don't know how to run a business. And this is no shade or anything. It was just like, I'm like, this is so cool that these women can earn 6 figures, but they don't actually know what they're doing. Imagine if they knew what they were doing. Oh my goodness, like this is so much fun. So then I became, I had a launch in December, and in my side hustle, I did like about $25,000 in December, totally accidentally. And I was like, forget the director of ops stuff. I'm going all in with this. And so in January 2024, I pivoted full-time into it. And these women are just amazing. I have never been this fulfilled in my entire life.
Girl, that is amazing. Like, I absolutely love hearing your story. Like, for those of you who obviously, like, I'm over here excited. I'm making sure that I'm following you and all of that good stuff. But that's super exciting. And I will 100% agree with you. Very similar to the space that I am in when I talk about not only my journey, but what I came to realize is that these people are, and people meaning entrepreneurs, men, women, doesn't matter, right? These business owners are amazing at what they do in their niche, right? So they're great at being a contractor. They're great at providing this service. They're great at housekeeping, whatever, right? But they lack the fundamentals. They lack the business sense and the foundational aspects to really grow their business the way that they need to. And that's very similar to, like, with me, I wasn't this amazing provider, Yeah, I provided good service. No, I had the foundation that all of these other people didn't have. And that's why I was able to scale my business and succeed. So again, I'm just saying that because you are literally preaching to the choir when you talk about these businesses not having that. It's almost like they don't even realize that that's what they're lacking, right? I mean, is
100%.
that something that you have experienced as well?
Yes, yes. And so, and I am all about the esthetician. So I'm taking a break right now, but I have lash extensions and my lash
Right.
girl became a coaching client. So her and I just totally vibe together. The girl that does my hair, I have nails, like I do all the things and they will tell me in school, we learned how to have a clean workspace. We learned how to use booking, but we learned the technical skills, but nobody taught us how to actually grow our business. It was kind of like you just kind of learned and picked things up. And so I find it super exciting because I'm like, if they just made these few tweaks, that's how you go from struggling to do a 4-figure month to being multi 5-figure month. Like it's just little changes, which I find, and that's where, yes, is there more money, technically speaking, in being a director of operations? Absolutely. But this is so much more fulfilling. Like those businesses are going to be fine. They're going to find someone else to plug that hole. But this is such a unique area for me. And I don't know if people follow the Enneagram, but I'm an Enneagram either 7-wing 8 or 8-wing 7, but I am like a protector. And so these girls, I feel like they're big sister. Like I just want to go to battle for them, teach them what they need to know. Because to me, success as a coach is I want them to make 10 times more than I make. Like for me, success is pouring into them and watching them have these light bulb moments. Because people, exactly what you're saying, you hit the nail on the head. They'll be in my DMs like, Kel, you were saying on Instagram today, to do strategy. Does that mean like more reels? And I'm like, girls, it's not just social media growth. Like that's not what I mean by marketing. But these girls, the very few things they're taught just has to do with social media. And it's really hampering their ability to grow really big, is just missing some of these skills. And so it's completely fulfilling to just like learn about their business and say something. They're like, what does that mean? And then I tell them, they make this little change. And I mean, one of my girls last month, she just made one little change and she tripled her bookings. I'm just so passionate about it. And I'm like, it's really fun because I don't see it as like, oh, they don't know what they're doing. It's more like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. Like you just have to make these couple of changes and the whole world is going to open before you. So it's really been fun, but you're exactly right. The business skills, and I get it. These schools, the girls aren't going to want, or guys, no one signs up to do that. And you're going to school for 8 years. So they are limited. These schools, anybody is a little bit limited on how much can you really cram into someone's brain in a short period of time. But to me, it's really affects somebody's ability to earn a lot of money without working a lot of hours when they're missing these skills. So essentially, and that's why Walk Like Warriors exists. I want women or men to have the business of their dreams without sacrificing their personal life. You need to have both of those operating together in order to truly feel fulfilled, right? Because a 7-figure business doesn't matter if you have broken relationships with everybody in your life. So for me, it's like that 1-2 punch of when those are in harmony, your life is really, really good.
No, it is literally hilarious because when you're saying this, like that's kind of where I'm at. And I myself, people don't realize that successful people also have coaches, right? We have mentors. We have people that we bounce ideas off of and things of that nature. But this morning, I get my grandkids every week, one night a week. I go pick up my grandkids from school, from daycare, whatever. And that enables my daughter to not, she has the night to free to do whatever the heck she wants to do, right? She can sleep in, go to work the next day, whatever. But I took my grandson to work or to daycare this morning, and I stopped off at AM PM and got my granddaughter some donuts, right? And as I was walking into the AM PM and opening the door, I'm like, thank you, God. Thank you for this opportunity. Like it's 9:15 in the morning and I had the opportunity to like take my grandkids to school when, let them sleep in. And, it's those small things that just matter so much more to me than the money, than the vacation. Like when I go on vacation, I'm like, this is an opportunity that like I'm so just grateful. But again, very similar to like what you're saying in terms of what you're doing for your team and your clients and the women that you coach and lead. It's so fulfilling to us, right? I've been coaching and guiding people, for free and paid and all of that. But I have this every 2 weeks, I have this coaching event where I get on and they ask me questions, and it might be an hour long. I might have 5 people. I might have 10 people. It might be an hour and a half. But I get off of that call and I am like, pumped. I didn't make any money. I didn't make a dime, but it fed my soul because I'm pouring back in to people who need it. I feed off of their success. Their success is our success, right? And like you said, having that good work-life balance. I saw in your story, you had talked about kind of like the eye-opening moment for you when you're like, hold on, wait a second. Like, this job is requiring a little more than what I'm willing to give. And there's no respect for my personal time, right? And I bet you, and this is just my guess, but I'm pretty sure you would agree. I bet you when you put in your notice, they were like, I'm sad to see you go. Okay, Sally, we need you to put that ad up so we can replace Kelly, right? Wasn't even a second thought. So you want to tell us about your story with kind of how you like realize, like, wait a minute, like this is really something in terms of employment.
Yes. Yeah. One of my favorite business life quotes is that when you're working that hard for a company, it's not your own company. Like if you were to, this is a little bit morbid, but it gives perspective. So that if you were to die today, your company will post your job opening before your family has written your obituary. And it's very humbling to understand that even someone like me, that I am a workaholic, workaholism is the only addiction in our country that corporate America loves, praises, worships, gives you. I mean, you can climb the corporate ladder so fast. You feel so good. Everybody wants you on the team. Everybody's trying to offer you a promotion so that you're working with them, right? And it really, your ego can get in the way and you start to see yourself as important when really all that's important to them is what you're producing. It's not you as a human being. And so part of my recovery from burnout and workaholism was separating my value as a human being from what I produced. And that's extremely hard to do when you've always been very rewarded for what you produce. And so yeah, I mean, I tell the story. I get very emotional. I'm not a crier. I literally just don't cry that much, but I cry over this story because it's really embarrassing to admit it, how blind we can get when we're in that reward cycle for overwork. And we can be so sick and not realize we're sick. And so it was my daughter's wedding day. She was getting married a couple of hours away, so we couldn't do the whole limo thing, right? So I was driving all the bridesmaids and the bride to my daughter's wedding. And so the CEO of the company, I mean, everybody at the company knew it was my daughter's wedding day. I'd been talking about it and all that. Right. It was very exciting. He knew that it was my daughter's wedding day. And I'm driving, the bridesmaids are chattering away in the back seat, and we've got the music going and everything. And I see on my phone that it was the CEO calling and basically calling to offer me like the promotion of a lifetime. It would have been a dream come true for me, but it was on my daughter's wedding day. And the circumstances that were leading to that job offering were not good because it would be somebody losing their job in order for me to have the job of a lifetime. And I am talking to him and the conversation went on. And, I'm fighting all these emotions. Like I shouldn't have answered my phone, but oh my gosh, it's like actually happening. This would be crazy to have this kind of role. And I made eye contact with her in the rearview mirror. And it was, you can't get that moment back, the pain in her eyes. And I kind of made I'm on my way to the wedding, so we're going to talk tomorrow. And he was bragging about how he took a phone call from the stage at his daughter's wedding. Like he was up on the platform. And that was when I realized that I don't want to be ugly towards someone. I mean, people make different choices and different things are important. And I mean, I certainly understand that CEOs at these multi 9-figure company, I understand that they have different demands, but it wasn't a choice that I wanted to make. And it was a real turning point for me. It was the final straw that was needed to break that workaholism. I will never get that back. My daughter has, of course, forgiven me. She's a lovely human being, but it was just one of those things where now looking back, I shake my head and I'm like, how could I have thought that that was even a normal thing? And this was the year of COVID. I had gone, I was working 100 hours a week. I was somebody that didn't get to work from home. So I was gone constantly, missed out on a lot of things. And it was really like one straw after another that finally broke the back. And it was at that point that in my head, it was like a resoluteness. I'm never working for somebody else again. I'm going to work for myself and I'm going to set my own hours. And I love the story you said about your grandchild, because today, the day that we're recording it, it's just a random day of the week. And my daughter was off. This is a different daughter of mine, but she goes to school this fall and she was off today. And she said, "What's your schedule like tomorrow, Mama?" And I told her, and I was like, I canceled all my meetings today. I didn't have any coaching calls. I don't cancel those, but I had other things going on. And we went to the coffee house in our pajamas and we just sat there drinking our lattes like it was nothing. And I was like, this is the life that I want. That on a random day at 10:30 in the morning, we're just sitting there in our pajamas, having our breakfast sandwiches and everything. It was gold. And, to anyone out there who maybe got a little flick of guilt or pain or shame, it doesn't matter what you've done before. It matters what you do now. And you can make different choices. And, this is not sunshine and rainbows. It takes a lot. It takes a lot to build this kind of life. It's not like I just woke up one day and everything was easy, but it was worth the fighting and the clawing to get here. And I can truly say I'm healthy now. And this is the first time I would say, and I'm in my 40s, this is the first time where I'm actually a healthy person now in how I view work.
I completely agree. I'm a little emotional myself just hearing you tell your story. I appreciate your openness and willing to tell it in hopes of obviously, inspiring other people. I think that as somebody who has gone through similar situations, the healthier that we get, the more that we realize we were unhealthy at a certain point, right? So the healthier that I get I'm around a friend on vacation and their job keeps calling them while we're on vacation. I'm like, in my mind, that's so disrespectful. That is so disrespectful. This is my time. I'm not getting paid. And it's not just about getting paid. To me, it's just a respect thing. I cannot even imagine calling one of my team or messaging them. Like, that is one of the things that I even drive home when I'm hiring somebody is one, communicate with me. If you're sick, if your kid is sick, you have a vacation plan, you need time off, a holiday, whatever, right? Let me know. You've got it. I'm not telling you no. I just had something, hey, I'm not going to be available this week from this day to this day. Hey, just a reminder, it's a specific religious holiday. Hey, enjoy your time with your family. Let me know when you get back. I 100% know that level of healthy is hard to achieve and get to. But once you get there, it's irreplaceable. You can't put a dollar figure on it. And like I said, I really, really appreciate you just even sharing that, because I could see the pain in your eyes. I could feel the pain when you're talking about seeing your daughter in the rearview mirror, knowing oh no, what have I done? Right. So again, I really appreciate you sharing that.
Thank you. It's hard to share. It's embarrassing. I mean, truly, it's a very embarrassing moment in my life, but it resonates with a lot of people. And I think that as entrepreneurs, as small business owners, we can actually be that CEO to ourselves.
Right.
Where we are on vacation, or we are out to dinner with our family, or we are having family movie night on the couch and we're just on our phone, answering the DMs, answering the texts. And it's we have to be a good CEO to ourselves and not follow the patterns of corporate America. And I see a lot of entrepreneurs doing this. And that doesn't matter if they're working 5 hours a week or 50 hours a week, where there's this incessant hamster wheel of activity that they have a hard time divorcing themselves from. And it can be very rewarding, right? Well, my customers love me because the second they text me, I text them back. And it's just there's one of the estheticians that I see for my appointments. I mean, literally within 1 second of my text, she texts right back. And I'm just I don't need you to be on to this level. I don't need you to feel like that's necessary to earn my love, respect, all of those things. So I think I can't remember what book it was, but I was reading a book and it was talking about kind of like what I told you, the story with the CEO, right? Where these CEOs, okay, he was talking about how, he missed his number by 1%, like the revenue increase. And the CEO went ballistic and was degrading them and screaming at them, wouldn't let them take bathroom breaks, wouldn't let them have more than 10 minutes for lunch. And then the kicker was the last sentence of that chapter was, and that CEO was me.
I did not expect that.
Oh, I did not either, because I was like, this person sounds like a monster. And then I started thinking, how often am I answering Instagram DMs while I'm eating my lunch? I wouldn't want to work for a CEO that was like, you must work while you have lunch, but we do that to ourselves. We don't take bathroom breaks. We skip our meals because we're working. And so, it's easy to criticize the CEOs of corporate America, and I don't want to do that. It's their baby. It's their passion. It's their, well, you know what? When we own our own business, it's our baby. I truly, from the bottom of my heart, with all humility, I get why CEOs, they get a bad rap, but they love their business and they want other people to be all in with them. Well, when we start to have our own business, there's these lines that we start to cross with ourselves. And that really resonated with me, that like hitting your number or missing your number by 1%. And then degrading yourself, because I have a tendency to do that. Like if I have a revenue goal for the month and I miss it by $5, even if it's multi 5 figures, I'm just talking crap to myself. Like, you didn't push hard enough. You're not good enough. People don't want this. And it's like, that really hit me between the eyes, because I think that women especially tend to really talk horribly to themselves about their own business. And that really can cause a lot of negative things in our personal life and our business life that maybe we never intended.
Yeah, I completely agree. As you were kind of talking, it took me back to my early 20s when I was a mother and a wife and a businesswoman. And my husband at the time was and he still is actually, he's not my husband, but he's still very sought after. And he's extremely intelligent, tax and business consultant. And that's where I learned a lot of my knowledge and expertise. And so when we would go to a birthday party for our kids, or we would be at one of our children's sporting events, and somebody would see us, and we're talking potential clients, including my friends and family. Hey, by the way, while we're here, and they would try and have a business conversation with him. And I'm like, no, we're sitting in the third row of the bleacher watching our 7-year-old son play basketball. This is not the time. We're getting ready to cut cake for my 8-year-old daughter's birthday party. This is not the time, And so I was the bad person, where I had to play the bad guy, where I would cut it off. And I'm like, no, Sally, this is not the time or the place. Right now, we're at our child's event, doing such and such. And you can call him, or you can email him, or you can whatever on business hours. But right now, he's on dad mode. You know what I mean? And so I think I learned that concept of setting those boundaries. And I even myself, like I said, while you're talking, I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, well, I know when I go on vacation, I turn off my business phone. I check my emails and do a little bit of work, 30 minutes, 45 minutes in the morning before I go have my day to vacation. But I'm turning off, like you said. And I even tried to give that same respect to my providers. So my makeup artist, my lash artist, my nail person, whoever, right? I might think of, I need to email her. I need to text her and see if she has this date available, right? And then go, oh no, it's 7:30. No, yeah, I'll remember tomorrow. Like, I want to be mindful and respectful of their time and know that, hey, this is their time. They're at home with their kids. They're cooking dinner. Their husband's off of work. Like, I can message them another time. Now, sometimes I will even go, you don't need to respond to this message right now because I know you're at, but I wanted to send you this message because otherwise I might forget. So respond to me tomorrow. But again, I love how you said, like, we are our own CEO. So we have the opportunity to be able to determine those things. But I think something that you said at the very end was really important, in that sometimes we don't even realize that this is an unhealthy boundary for ourselves. And one thing that I literally drive home almost every single time that I have the opportunity is Self-care, taking care of yourself. Us as women, right? Mothers, wives, grandparents, friends. We might be on the board of this, that, and the other, entrepreneurs. We naturally are caregivers. So we're taking care of everyone else, right? Whatever's left over, we take care of ourselves. Well, what happens is when we do that, we don't have very much left over to give to ourselves. But if we take care of ourselves first, then we can show up to our business and our family and our friends and everything else 125%, 100%, because our gas tank is full, if you will. You know what I'm saying? And so what is one of the ways that you find that has enabled you to kind of set those healthy boundaries first within yourself, but then be able to kind of pass that on and say, no, brother, like set those boundaries with your family or your friends?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, boundaries are hard and we're always a work in progress. And so I think that the biggest thing with my recovery from burnout and workaholism is a very old school word that I'll explain because sometimes people get the wrong idea, but it was practicing the Sabbath. And even if you're not religious, I'm not Jewish, but I took a class about it and I probably read 30 books about it. And I'm a woman of faith. So I believe it is that we are actually designed for a period of work and a period of rest. I believe that when we follow rhythms of rest, it really does cut down on the workaholism, because I remember the first day I tried, it doesn't have to be a Sunday. It doesn't even matter. Like my sister's a nurse. She works a lot of Sundays, but it could be a Monday, it could be a Thursday, it doesn't matter. But
right.
I was so uncomfortable and my mind would not stop racing because I was like, the world cannot be without Kelly for one day. Everything's going to fall apart at work. This was when I was still in corporate, but I was like, oh, there's all these emails coming in, all these texts. Like I was just so fraught with stress and there was just so much negativity to that day. But I forced myself. I'm a woman of my word. So when I say I'm going to do something, I just do it. So I was just like, I kept stuffing that down. It was like, it took a few times before I started to realize what happens when we refuse to do any work of any kind. When we come into the next few days, our energy is through the roof and my brain comes up with so many ideas and insights because it's not taxed. It's not flooded. My body is not flooded with cortisol. I'm not flooded with stress. And so my body started releasing, just dumping out that stress. And now it's become, I have more energy. I swear I get more done Monday through Wednesday than I did when I was working Sunday through Saturday. And it's because I truly believe it goes down to the way that we're designed. It's when we can truly rest our brains, our bodies, just all of it for one full day, really powerful physiological things happen inside of our body. So even if you're not religious, you don't have to be religious.
Right.
Science is starting to bear this out too, that having that full day is super important. So that was part of it. And then another really big thing for me has been my morning routine, which now, there's this whole trend on, in order to go viral, you need to say the opposite of commonly held beliefs. So now everybody's all dumping all over morning routines. It's not a routine to get me ready to work. It's that my goal is by the time I sit down at this desk that I'm sitting at, I've filled my cup. Now it's different for everybody, but mind, body, soul, spirit, that needs to happen first, because for me, again, women are at different stages of their life. People need to adjust it for themselves. But for me, the goal is my cup is full before the day comes at me, so that anything that happens from that point on, I can pour out because I'm filled up. The other thing too is, and I'm not dumping on self-care whatsoever, because I have a pretty lengthy morning time that I spend by myself filling myself up, but no bubble bath, no massage in the world feels like someone in your DMs crying and saying, you changed my flipping life. You saved my marriage. That kind of high, that doesn't go away after 2 days. That stays with me. Somebody said that to me in January and I'm still riding on that high. So nothing against self-care, but I also believe we are designed and we are at our best when we're using our gift to help someone else. And I'm sure if someone does hair and she's got somebody in her chair and the girl's going through a hard time and she just pours into her and she gets a text the next day, I needed that. I guarantee you she's riding higher on that than 2 weeks of bubble baths. Again, there's nothing against bubble baths. I love bubble baths. You give me a glass of champagne and a bubble bath and I'm like a happy girl. But I think women, there's this whole self-care movement, pour in yourself. At the same time though, I just ask people, just do an experiment. what feels better though to your core? And for me, it's if someone messages me and says your gift has actually changed my business. So a couple of weeks ago, she's like, I could not make more than $100 a month. My coaching calendar is full. I have no more room at all. After 2 months of working, like that to me is like, oh my word, I just literally changed someone's life. Like I changed somebody's bank account, their family's finances. And so to me, it's big or small. I also think that women are connectors. And when we're connecting and also like helping somebody with our gift, it is the most fulfilling. I believe in virtue, and part of virtue is like in service of others, right? And nothing against self here, but to me, that's why I love what I'm doing, even if it could be potentially less money than I would have made really building out my director of ops piece.
Of course.
Because one-to-one helping somebody versus being a cog in a bigger wheel at a business, this is to me what God put me on the earth to do. And so I balance that morning routine with the rest of the day. I want to be pouring into other people because it's incredibly fulfilling to me.
Absolutely. And you know what? It's ironic that I recently, because I've been working from home for 3 years, but I recently, just within the last, I want to say 3 or 4 months, maybe changed up my morning routine. And so before I would get up and I'd have my cup of coffee and I'd get my day started. And, you know, before I've got the crust out of my eyes, if you will, you know, I'm on my computer, right? Mm-hmm. And now, and I was productive, you know, I got work done, but not like I do now. Now I get up and I still have my little cup of coffee, maybe not, but I take a shower and I wash my face. And I wash my hair and I blow dry my hair and I might put on a little bit of makeup and I put on something comfortable to wear at home, right? And that might take 30 minutes. It might take an hour, however long that is. Then I sit down at my desk. And the amount of productivity that comes out of me when I do that, okay, is astonishing to me. No different to me in my mind. I'm like, okay, like, so you brushed your teeth and washed your hair like before you sat down at the computer versus doing it at 11 o'clock or 12 before you have somewhere to go or do or whatever. But the amount of productivity that I'm able to see and the difference in my day, like you said, I'm able, like before I might go, okay, whoo, I gassed out. Let me go sit on the couch and kind of watch TV for 30 minutes or something. Let me go do something to like take a little break, right? Mm-hmm. I don't have to do that anymore because I'm so much more productive and focused and aligned with what I have that I'm working on, that I no longer struggle with I'm distracted or I'm tired or I'm this or that, whatever. So again, like I said, it's ironic that you fill your cup. So that's me filling my cup. I'm filling my cup in the morning before I sit down at the desk. That way I can show up for my clients or somebody who calls or an email or a DM or whatever, and be able to really pour into their lives.
Absolutely. And I think when people hear morning routine, like when I'm coaching someone through this, it's not torture. This is not like a prison camp. This should be, what do you love doing? Like if you had a half a day on Saturday where you had nothing scheduled, what would you do? Well, I know you might not have 4 hours on a Tuesday morning, but like just trim it down. Do you love to have like a cup of tea or a cappuccino and you just sit and read a book? Just do, like, let's not make this like we're back to school with like these timestamps on our day. But I have women, I just encourage anyone listening, just do this experiment for 2 weeks. Write down 1 or 2 things that would totally fill your cup that you want to do. Get up 30 minutes earlier and do those before any part of your day comes at you. I have never had one coaching client not fall in love with that and be like, I feel so like I'm done. I have checked my little checkbox for me before I do anything else. So for the rest of the day, I just feel really good. Like I already was productive because I already did the things most important to me. I've never had someone say like that wasn't totally worth it and I'm sticking with this. So I'm just like, you don't even have to get up earlier, but it could be just 10 minutes, right? It doesn't have to be this long 6-hour morning routine. But I think that it's a choice that we make as women and we can choose differently. I mean, we really can just, instead of doing this, that, and the other thing, we can just say, okay, what this is, again, morning routines should fill us. This is not supposed to be torture. So if you don't want to work out as part of your morning routine, why the heck would you do that? Don't do that. If you want to listen to a podcast, if you want to walk outside, if you want to just do a facial and lay on the couch for 15 minutes, do that. Like, start your day with that. You're going to feel so much better. So like for me as a woman of faith, I read my Bible, whether I have 2 hours or 10 minutes, that is on the list, but also journaling. I bullet journal. Like there's different things I do. If I have 2 hours, I take the full 2 hours and it's luxurious and I love it. If I have 10 minutes, then I just do that one most important thing. Completely changed my life. If anyone loves this, there's a great book. I think it's called Miracle Morning. Morning Miracle or Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. That book is what really got me started down this path. And it just changed everything about my desire to get up early. The house is dark and quiet. I love that time. That's like my sacred time. Like that's my me time. I actually love it so much. Sometimes I even find myself, my body wakes me up earlier because it wants more of that time. I know people are like, Kelly, you're crazy. But if you just do a 2-week experiment, I really think people would realize, oh my word, I feel so much better going into my day. I checked that box. I feel really good. I've already done the most important things. Come at me, day. Like I'm ready for it.
Right. I love it. Well, listeners, you've got your project. You know what she wants you to do. And as somebody who has experimented with this before, like I said, a few months ago, I see a substantial difference in my life and my productivity. So you know what you've got to do, try it out. And then can you tell us the name of the book again or the author?
It's Hal Elrod, Elrod.
Okay, perfect. And then, of course, if our listeners and followers want to find you, where can they find you on social media? Do you have a website? All that good stuff.
Yes, walk like warriors. So my name, Kelly, means warrior woman. And so it's just like bringing that focus, that fearlessness to our business and our personal life. So it's walklikewarriors.com, or I am in Instagram stories. If you're like, I would love a business coach, but I can't afford one, I coach for free every day in stories. I hold nothing back. So if that is appealing to someone, find me over on Instagram.
Awesome. Thank you again so much, Kelly. I really appreciate you taking time. Like I said, your vulnerability and openness and willingness to just share your story and inspire others. So thank you again.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Awesome.
That's a wrap for today's Beauty Business Breakthroughs. I hope you found these insights valuable and actionable for your beauty business. Remember, success in this industry is within your reach. If you're hungry for more and ready to take your beauty business to the next level, consider joining our Get Fully Booked Accelerator program. We are dedicated to helping beauty professionals like you achieve extraordinary success with strategies that can take your business to 10K per month and beyond. Simply send us a direct message on Instagram, Lux Beauty and Body Co., with the word success, and we'll provide you with all of the details on how you can be a part of this game-changing program. Your journey to a thriving beauty business starts now. Thank you again for tuning in, and until next time, stay inspired, stay motivated, and keep making those beauty business breakthroughs.